Summer in Disney World is supposed to be busy, right? But is that still going to be the case in 2024? Or is Main Street USA going to be suddenly deserted? Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Now that summer is approaching, it's time to have a serious meeting with y'all. In the past, summer has been known to be one of Disney World's busiest times of the year, but since there are so many other factors at play in 2024, there's a solid case against the crowds being nearly as dense as they have been in years prior. So here's the big question for today. Will Disney World be empty this summer? Just to give you a quick roadmap, we're going to start off by talking about how the parks could be a little bit lighter this summer, followed by why they might not be. And then we'll wrap up everything by talking about what you can do to plan ahead, regardless of what happens. So I want to kick off today's video with the most shocking point that I'm so eager to talk about with y'all. Sure, there is a possibility that the summer crowds we're used to may not be nearly as thick this time around, and here are all the reasons why. So the first reason we think that Disney World might be empty this summer is because Disney kind of said so. Okay, maybe Disney didn't exactly say they were going to be completely empty this summer, but what Disney CEO Bob Iger did say during this most recent earnings call was a little bit eyebrow-raising, and still confirms our suspicions of lower park attendance during the next few months and perhaps even longer than that. During the earnings call, Stephen Cahill, an analyst with Wells Fargo Securities, asked Iger what the company's expectations were as far as park attendance was concerned for fiscal year 2025, which starts this October. And Iger stated that when compared to those post-COVID highs that the parks were seeing just a few years back, things are finally starting to, quote, normalize. Essentially, post-COVID travel increased Disney Parks revenue dramatically, but now that things are evening out, it could cause operating income to decrease on future reports. That being said, Iger still remained optimistic about park attendance and future attendance growth, stating that people still have a strong desire to go on vacation and come to see Disney. We'll talk more about the most recent earnings call throughout the course of this video, but first let's address another big reason why a certain Disney World park might be a little more deserted than usual this summer. Now, the next big thing that's happening this year that is very different from previous years, there won't be a summer Epcot festival, at least as far as we know. For the past few years, post-pandemic, we've had extended Epcot festivals to look forward to during the months of June and July. Last year, for instance, Flower and Garden took place from March 1st and up until July 5th, while Food and Wine followed shortly after from July 27th to November 18th. So we were pretty much set for the summer with festivals, unless we were visiting during the couple of weeks in July between fests. But this year, the festival schedules look completely different. And by different, I mean way shorter. In 2024, Flower and Garden took place starting February 28th and ended on May 27th. But Food and Wine isn't going to start up until August 29th. Historically, Epcot has placed its festivals during times that they needed to lure guests back into the park, so during those non-peak vacation times. So before the 2020 closures, Disney really didn't feel like they needed to have a festival during the summer season to gain a lot of traction. And now they may be reverting back to their old ways, or maybe there are specifics with this particular festival that make them need a little extra time to prepare. Much like how COVID changed so many things, there's a good chance that longtime Disney fans are actually going to wait out the bulk of the summer season so they can experience what's on the horizon for the future of Epcot festivals. So why is the festival schedule so much different this year? A lot of it has to do with the new Communicore Plaza and Hall opening up in just the next couple of weeks, we think. Let me backtrack here for just a second. Before the pandemic, Food and Wine was cooler, way cooler. Sure, it took place during a shorter duration of time, but along with all the different food booths, you could also experience special events like Party for the Senses, cheese seminars, Mexican tequila lunches, those amazing Parisian breakfasts, and of course, celebrity chef demonstrations. But post-pandemic, we lost all that extra stuff. So then Disney fell into this bizarre pattern of trying to regain Food and Wine interest from guests by not opening all their food booths at one time. Instead, they opened a chunk of food booths throughout the Food and Wine season. So even if you visited Food and Wine last year, starting on July 27th, you wouldn't have had all the food booths open and available for you to try. That makes sense because it gives locals an incentive to come back multiple times through the festivals because the festival booths are changing. All of this to say that Communicore Hall seems to be coming in to save Food and Wine Festival and return it to its former glory. Since this fully purpose-built structure and festival programming will have the ability to host a demonstration kitchen, a mixology bar, and an exhibition and gallery space, plus a wide variety of other experiences centered around food, art, live music, and entertainment, entertainment, we might see that regular interest return from locals who are coming back over and over again because every week is a different lineup of events. And because of this food and wine resurrection, we're going to have to sacrifice the quantity of this festival to regain the quality of it. Maybe. That's at least our interpretation of what's going on. Technically, you can still experience Communicore Hall and Plaza before Food and Wine kicks off, since it'll open on June 10th, and bringing with it a brand new Encanto-themed sing-along, Celebración Encanto, onto its new Plaza stage. But otherwise, Communicore is going to remain festival-less, as far as we know, until August 29th. So families may not be as apt to plan a visit here throughout the months of June and July if the Epcot festivals are a big reason why they tend to go to this park in the first place. With all that being said, Food and Wine's kickoff is actually a reason why you might see some strong crowds there at the end of August. The first day of a new festival is 99.9999% guaranteed that Epcot crowds are going to be thick that day, with all the folks wanting to be the first to try all the new stuff and buy up all the new merch. So if you are planning your trip for August, the end of August, put the opening of Food and Wine on your radar, because locals and out-of-towners alike are going to want to experience all the new offerings starting on day one, not to mention all those pesky YouTubers. Another reason why we might not see the same crowd levels this summer is that people are very, very interested in what's coming to Universal Studios next year. Universal is opening their third park gate, Epic Universe, in 2025, which will bring us into the worlds of How to Train Your Dragon, Super Nintendo, Ministry of Magic, Dark Universe, and Celestial Park. And the announcements surrounding this park so far have been epic. So epic, in fact, that many families and vacationers might end up holding off on those big summer getaways this year so they can save for an Orlando trip next year when they know they can experience this brand new park. During the past earnings call, Iger addressed the Universal-sized elephant in the room too, mentioning that Disney and Universal have had competition for a long time. And while Iger is mindful of what Universal is doing, he emphasized that he's confident in what Disney has already built and will continue to grow. He also made a point that anytime Universal's opened a major new project in the state, that it's increased tourism overall, which has benefited Disney. But again, this does mean that if Epic Universe isn't coming this summer, that the rest of those anxiously waiting crowds may not be super willing to increase tourism for the area just yet. That being said, Universal's also got a lot of stuff planned for this summer too. On June 14th, DreamWorks Land in Universal Studios Florida will be opening, dropping us into the stories of Shrek and Trolls and Kung Fu Panda through new interactive play areas and character meet and greets and live shows. There's also going to be a Troller coaster, which I know Cassie is wildly excited about. Cassie basically is Poppy from Trolls at this point. Also on June 14th, a new nighttime spectacular called Cinesational, a symphonic spectacular, will debut on the Universal Studios Florida Lagoon. This is going to be really cool. It's going to have drones and all kinds of stuff. Now, a new nighttime castle projection is also joining in. Hogwarts Always will also debut in the Wizarding World section inside Universal Islands of Adventure. Then on July 3rd, Universal Studios Florida is also debuting a brand new parade called Universal Mega Movie Parade, which is going to feature floats from iconic films like E.T., Back to the Future, Ghostbusters. So Universal's got a lot going on, both this summer and next summer, and to be quite frank, people just might be more interested in those announcements rather than the ones going on in Disney World right now. That's not to say people may not choose to go to both Universal and Disney World during their Orlando trips. After all, you're in the area. However, if those guests are trying to stick to a certain budget and they've got to pick one park experience over the other, they might feel more inclined to choose Universal this time around. But maybe it's not the fact that Disney fans are wanting to break their Disney alliance and go the Universal route. Maybe we're going to see fewer summer crowds in 2024 because people are simply practicing patience. Hard to believe, I know, but with D23 bookending the summer for everyone, people might be waiting to see what Disney has planned for the future instead of biting the bullet and taking their bigger summer vacations now before those announcements take place. Just to get you up to speed, D23 is labeled as the ultimate Disney fan event, which happens every other year over in Anaheim, California. During this event, there'll be special exhibits, exclusive merchandise, celebrity presentations, and most importantly, some big announcements that Disney has promised regarding the future of the domestic parks. Now, Disney's been teasing us about certain Disney World park expansions for a while now. We know that Animal Kingdom is going to start retheming Dino Land USA to become the Tropical Americas, which will incorporate IP like Encanto and Indiana Jones. And we know that Disney's planning on doing something beyond Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Magic Kingdom. We're just not quite sure what it is yet. Could be Coco themed, could be Disney villains, Could be a whole lot of different areas. Who knows? And then there are extra things that we know Disney's been both planning as well as currently building inside Disney World, lingering on the horizon with no set release date. The potential Pirates-themed pub coming to Magic Kingdom, the reimagined test track in Epcot, and the Zootopia takeover, where It's Tough to Be a Bug currently resides in Animal Kingdom. So if a family can only take a Disney World vacation every few years or so, or even once in a lifetime, they may not want to choose this summer to travel if they know more stuff is planned to open in the parks at a later date. For our next point, let's ditch Disney and Universal and SeaWorld and Legoland and Busch Gardens, all of it, because this summer families might be turning toward a different travel trend instead. According to a study done by Hilton, it seems that the number one reason people want to travel in 2024 is for rest and relaxation. Further into the study, Hilton also stated that as the world holds on to a renewed sense of wanderlust following the pandemic, 64% of global travelers plan to prioritize leisure travel in 2024, and that means going to new places, possibly even overseas destinations that focus on great food and beverages, exploration and adventure, and connecting with people and local cultures. And then there's Disney, a place where you can purchase Genie Plus starting at midnight the day of your park visit. You'll wake up at 7 a.m. to secure your first lightning lanes of the day, as well as any virtual queues that you want to join, which you may or may not get. You'll rope drop the park with everyone else and their mothers and spend the entire day on your feet, racking up 20,000 plus steps by the end of it, only to crash in your hotel room that you paid $1,000 for after the fireworks, and then start the cycle all over again the next day. It's exhausting just to think about it. To be fair, there are definitely ways you can relax on Disney World property if you want to. You can book a massage at Grand Floridian, sleep away your day on a resort beachside hammock, spend your afternoon in Nomad Lounge, sipping on cocktails. That's what I do. You get the idea. There are ways to relax, but are most families really going to spend that much money just to kind of chill out by a pool? If they're going to do that, why don't they do it someplace cheaper? So instead of going to the theme parks this summer, families may be spending their travel money elsewhere to hit up the beaches, the mountains, the countrysides, or other countries entirely where there are new landscapes and city markets for them to explore. Not to mention, the Disney World price point as a whole is becoming less and less appealing when many other vacation destinations can offer up lifelong memories at a cheaper cost. Let me give you an example, a very basic example, of what the initial cost of a 5-day Disney World vacation is going to look like for a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 kids, between July 8th and 12th. If I want to stay at the cheapest Disney Value Hotel, which around that time is All Star Sports, a vacation package that bundles a resort stay and one-day ticket for a family of 4 is going to cost about $3,762.16. This is the cheap option, folks, and that doesn't even begin to cover flights and food and any other additional souvenirs or add-ons. When all is said and done, you're looking at a potential $8,000 to $10,000 plus vacation just to go to Disney World for 5 days and stay in one of the cheapest hotels. For that price point, you could even find flights overseas for less. Let's use the Orlando International Airport as a home base. To fly to Paris from the Orlando International Airport around that same July timeframe, flights start at $706 per person, so about $2,824 for a family of 4. Flying to Tokyo costs $1,200. Expensive, sure, but still you're looking at $4,800 for a family of 4. Want to go to the Netherlands? Flight starts at $764. And sure, that's just flights we're talking about here, but even when you start adding lodging, food, and entertainment to those price points, each of these overseas trips tends to come in a little bit less than what you might pay for a Disney World trip. And if families have that vacation money saved, they may be less willing to splurge on a domestic trip versus somewhere international, just because they want to invest in a vacation that satisfies those wanderlust cravings. Now, the Disney theme parks may not be designed as the ultimate R&R vacation destination, but you know what Disney Experience kind of is? The Disney Cruise Line. According to the 2024 State of the Cruise Industry Report, global cruise capacity is forecast to grow at least 10% from 2024 to 2028, which means by 2027, cruises are forecast to grow to nearly 40 million passengers, and Disney is proudly jumping on this travel trend while it's experiencing its upward climb. In fact, during this past earnings call, the Disney Cruise Line was celebrated for helping to increase the company's overall revenue multiple times. So taking a Disney cruise is like finding that happy medium between relaxing and still getting smacked in the face with Disney experiences. This is a vacation where you truly get to decide how much or how little you want to pack into a single day, and you don't necessarily feel like you're getting cheated if you're not running around all day long. Plus, you don't have to worry about lightning lanes or Disney dining plans or virtual queues, and while you can make reservations for certain onboard premium experiences, you can also choose not to and still have a great time. Plus, almost all of the Disney cruise ships will take you to a new vacation destination, many of which are in a whole new country, so you get the relaxation, the culture, and the Disney exposure all mixed into one summer vacation trip that can also be relaxing. And to make that summer cruising all the more appealing, Disney's getting ready to open up their brand new island destination, Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, with cruises to this new destination starting up on June 6th. On Lookout Point, expect to see pristine beaches and separate kids and adults and family areas, new all-inclusive food stops, and lots of fun in the sun activities, much like you'll also find on Castaway Cay too. But what's going to make Lookout Cay really stand out, as Disney says, are the artistic expressions of the native flora and fauna of the Bahamas and the pageantry and history of the Junkanoo parades. A Bahamian art and culture pavilion called the Goombay Cultural Center is where you're going to find special programs and local artists who will provide fun learning opportunities for everybody. Along with these different offerings, be on the lookout for Mickey, Minnie, and Friends, who are going to be debuting their new looks on Lookout Cay. The Disney Magic, Disney Dream, and Disney Fantasy cruise ships will all offer sailings to Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point starting this summer, which could be a reason why Disney World might be hearing crickets a little more than usual. And let's not forget that people might start saving their vacation funds this summer to save for the opening of future Disney cruise ships instead. We know that the Disney Treasure will be taking its maiden voyage on December 21st of this year, with new experiences like Plaza de Coco, rotational dining, theme park-inspired lounges, and Disney The Tale of Moana stage show. There's also the Disney Adventure coming in 2025, which will be the first Disney cruise with a home port in Singapore. We expect this ship to also provide that happy medium solution for Disney fans who aren't quite ready to tell Mickey Mouse see you real soon, but who've also been bitten by the wanderlust bug and are ready to experience something entirely new. Now, it'd be silly of me to just end the video right there without a counter-argument to all of this, so let's explore why Disney World might surprise us with big crowds and longer than usual ride lines instead this summer. Okay, look out everyone, because Frontierland is about to pop off. They've got two reimagined attractions coming this summer. First up, you got the highly anticipated Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which we recently learned will be opening to the public on June 28th, 2024. Look at that, just in time for summer. After just getting back from Tokyo Disney for that media preview and seeing all the state-of-the-art animatronics featured in the rides across the new Fantasy Springs area, it just makes me increasingly more excited to see Tiana's ride come to life in a similar way over in our domestic parks. There are going to be loads of people wanting to be the first to ride this attraction. Annual pass holder previews for the ride are going to be taking place on June 13th, 14th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 20th too, so like really soon. And we've also got those cast member previews, Disney Vacation Club previews, D23 previews. Those are all coming in right around that time frame as well. And if anyone remembers the intense crowds and lines on the last day that Splash Mountain was open, yeah, we expect Tiana's Bayou Adventure to have similar crowds at least during its first month after opening. And while the new Country Bears musical Jamboree show might not draw as many crowds when it opens this summer like Tiana's ride will pull in, we still expect that this show is going to be great and pull in a lot of folks, especially during that first week or so of its grand debut. Now, another reason why we might see some crowds. Disney's pulling out those discounts. They want you to come piling into their parks, even if that means dropping down their prices exponentially. Currently, Disney's got a handful of promotions being featured on their special offers, deals, and discounts page that you can apply to your summer vacation trips, and they do that to get people in the parks. Here are the 3 featured deals listed on the website right now, but please keep in mind that all of these are subject to change, so if you want them, you gotta grab them before they disappear. First, you've got the 4-day, 4-park magic ticket for $99 per person per day, which is a deal that lasts for all visits leading up till September 22nd. This deal includes 1 admission to each of the 4 Disney World parks on 4 separate days. So if you're wanting to do park hopper tickets, you're not going to be able to use this deal. This is for 1 park per day and 1 park per day only. On a similar note, you can instead pick up the special 3-day, 3-park ticket for $89 per person per day, which applies to park visits up until September 24th. But the catch here, aside from it not applying to park hoppers still, is that you won't be able to use this ticket option for Magic Kingdom. So if you want to visit MK during your summer vacation, you may still be better off spending the extra $10 for the 4-park Magic deal. Then there's the Disney Resort deals. You can save up to 30% on rooms at select Disney hotels when you stay 5 consecutive nights or longer, or you can save up to 25% on shorter stays. This is valid for most nights from July 8th to October 3rd. There are also several savings opportunities currently listed on the Disney website for specific groups like military members, annual pass holders, and Disney Visa card holders. Just make sure to read the fine print for this deal since different resorts will have different savings opportunities. And of course, let's remember why summer is usually busy anyway. That's not going to change. I could keep going on and on about crowd level theories and speculation for how many people are really going to be visiting the parks this summer, but at the end of the day, if you told me to place my $1 million bets on whether Disney's going to be crowded or not, I'm still placing my money on folks coming. Summer is just a more convenient time for families to visit, and that's not going to change. Bria and I both have parents who were teachers, so sure, we can talk their ear off about how much lighter the crowds are going to be if they come to Orlando in August or September, or even during the middle of the week once January and February roll around, but at the end of the day, it's not feasible for them to drop whatever they're doing and fly down to the parks whenever Disney's crowds are predictably going to be their lowest. So summer it is, until they get to retire. So all in all, my advice to you is something I've said in multiple videos before. Plan for the worst, but anticipate the best. It's better to plan ahead for encountering those highly probable thick summer crowds and be prepared for them. And yet, if you do find the parks to be quieter than expected because of all those reasons I mentioned before, well, then that'll be a really nice surprise for you. So what can you do to plan ahead? How can you prepare for the summer crowd levels, even if they feel unpredictable right now? Strategy number 1, set your priorities. It really is impossible to do everything in Disney World during the limited time you've got, and it's even more impossible when the summer crowds are fighting against you too. To avoid disappointment, have everyone in your travel group decide on a couple of things they really want to do each day. Then work as a team to strategize how to get those rides and attractions and meals and shows accomplished. Everything else you manage to squeeze in after that is just gravy. Strategy 2, make use of the skip the line add-ons. Even if you feel kind of icky about the whole spending extra money to buy shorter waits via Genie Plus and individual lightning lanes, those uber busy times at Disney might demand you rethink your position on that matter. Because even if we think crowds might be a little bit lighter in the summer, on times like July 4th or Memorial Day, it's gonna be crowded. Using Genie Plus during a day or two of your trip, especially at ride-heavy parks like Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, could actually feel very worth it if your other option is having to wait for hours on end in the heat of the summer. We've actually got a free Disney Genie Plus cheat sheet that we can send your way if you want to learn more about how this service works before you head out for your summer vacation or any other Disney World vacation. So make sure to scan the QR code you see on the screen right now to pick it up, or head to disneyfoodblog.com/DisneyGenie Plus after this, and we'll send it on over to your email. Strategy number 3, plan out those meals. Sometimes Disney's fast food options don't feel all that fast, especially when crowds have skyrocketed, everyone's hungry, and every single table is taken and the lines are long. Your best bet is to decide where you're going to eat in advance, even if it's at a place you don't need reservations, and use mobile order in the My Disney Experience app to go ahead and pre-order your food on the day of your visit if you're going to a fast food or quick service spot. For instance, you may want to order lunch while you're waiting in line for rope drop. You can just choose a return time for later on in the day to let the quick service know when you're planning on swinging by to get it. Just remember to go back and press "I'm here, prepare my food" in the app when it's time to eat, so the restaurant can make your meal hot and ready for you upon your arrival. And strategy 4, don't be afraid to call it. Waving a little white flag may sound like a big defeat, but it doesn't have to mean that. Sometimes the magic just isn't magicking as hard as you want it to, and the crowds are getting way too people-y for your liking. This is like a regular occurrence for me. So it's okay to decide to leave whatever park you're in and maybe hop to another one, or go back to your hotel for some pool time, or jump on the monorail or Skyliner and check out the snacks available at some of the other resorts. You can find a quieter spot to still enjoy Disney's theming and have a great time doing it. So after everyone in your group has had some time to recharge their batteries, you can head back into the parks later that evening when the sun is down and the crowds are thinning. No matter what the crowds are going to look like next season, next month, or even next week, we here at DFB are here to help you navigate through the thick and thin of the lines and the wait times, so you never have to worry about trying to manage all the planning stress on your own. We've been there, we're there every single day. You can rely on us, you can trust us to give you the real talk and let you know what it's going to be like and give you our tips for getting through it. Remember, we got a free Disney Genie Plus cheat sheet we'd love to send your way over at disneyfoodblog.com/DisneyGenie Plus. So drop us your name and email, we'll send that digital guide to you really quick. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.